You're old. Older today than yesterday. You'll be older tomorrow than you are today. And you feel like, I get it, you feel like you've missed it. You didn't save, you didn't earn, you didn't put things away, you didn't get your life in order, you didn't get in shape, you didn't lose the weight, you just added more. What are you supposed to do? When you look up phrases like growing old gracefully, just Google it. You'll find hundreds of little micromanaging suggestions. But do they work? Do any of them work? Does a combination of them work? Do some work better than others? Well, let's take a look at what it means, not just to grow old gracefully and to give up and go quietly into the night, but what it would mean to grow old better. Are you ready to try something different? Something that actually might work? And if you're not ready to accept the adage, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, stick around to the end. I've got a big idea and a good story to tell you. And here's a little hint, one word.
Neuroplasticity.
Hi, I'm James Callahan, and this is the Do-Over Show, where we figure out how to do things better, at least the second time around. And growing old, this is where the fear hits. This is where the insecurity becomes real. Because yeah, maybe we tried something, it didn't work out, it failed, the economy turned against us, we changed our minds, somebody changed their minds about us, whatever it is. And we're wondering now, did I miss my one shot at things? Well, sorry, Eminem. You get more than one shot at life. You get a constant redo almost every single day. And learning how to embrace that, learning how to do it better, that's what the Do-Over Show is all about. Here's the thing. No one has experienced growing old until they grow old. That means that if you don't accept it, not just ignore it, not just pretend that you're not getting older, but learn how to do it better, you have a better shot at growing old better than someone who just gives up on life and learns from experience when it's too late. Most of us, we look around to people and we say, ooh, I wish I could be like that person. And we copy or we emulate them and we try to recreate the experiences that they have, and we end up living someone else's life. And we don't do it as well as they do. So instead of just copying someone else, how about let's find ways to create growing old better in our lives? So here are the basics. Like I said, when you Google growing old gracefully, you get a hit list of micromanaging little habits. Throw this, throw that, try this, try that. And we're supposed to add them all together and somehow come up with a magic growing old gracefully formula. Get more sleep. Stay hydrated. Ooh, that's a big one these days. Or eat organic. Also, eat more expensively. Yes, that's the cost of eating organically. What about wearing sunscreen? Quit smoking. Quit drinking. Exercise regularly. Low impact, obviously, because after all, you're old. Stop eating sugar. Eat more fiber. You know why. Moisturize. Take the stairs instead of the escalator or the elevator. Do crossword puzzles. Or at least play solitaire on your smartphone. Or intermittent fasting, or eat more protein, or eat less protein. All of them are available to you. All of them in some combination promise you that you can grow old gracefully. And this means that the growing old experience becomes more of a to-do list, more of an obsessive compulsive lifestyle than something we can actually do and enjoy. So let's go bigger and better than just a to-do list, adding or subtracting little things from our life. Let's look for the bigger things that can make all the difference and can transform all those little things in our to-do list, if you like to-do list, into something meaningful. The first thing is get a handle on your money. Yeah, it's probably a little too late for most. We've missed the eighth wonder of the world, compound interest. If we invest in it, we know the benefit. If we don't, we end up paying others the benefit of compound interest. Thanks, Albert Einstein. But getting a hold of our finances will mean that we'll know what our money can do, what we can do with our money. Now, the basic start is to set a budget. And I know most of us look at it and we think of a budget as something that's constricting. So a budget for us becomes this sort of burden, like, I don't want to live by somebody else's standard of what I should or shouldn't spend money on. And here's the thing. You're setting your own budget. So if you don't like the budget, then talk to the person who made the budget, and that's you. You're the problem, not the budget. And here's the other thing. A budget shouldn't just tell us, especially at this time in our life, it shouldn't just tell us what to save. Yes, here's the secret, we're in the earning years of our life, between 45 and 65-ish. We can live on less and less and less as we make more and more. Now, instead of just having our expenses increase along with our income, that's the point where we get to say, I'm going to not just save, I'm going to invest, and I'm going to learn to invest in myself. and take care of my money and tell it where to go and what to do so that it can become more. So get rid of the negative connotations associated with budgeting, get rid of the word save, and start looking at your life and your money with the word invest. Find ways to invest your money in yourself and in your future so that you can grow old better. The second big thing you can do is actually pick one of those smaller things and create a new habit in your life. Create a new habit, do it every day for 1 month until it actually becomes a habit and not a task on your to-do list. When you can drop it off your to-do list because you're going to do it every day anyway, that's when it's a habit. Now, if I offered you $1 million today, or 1 penny every single day, doubled for 30 days, which one would you take? Yeah, you'd have $1 million today, but you'd miss out on almost $5 million by letting that penny double every day. Just for 30 days. That's the month of building a habit that we're talking about. The actual number is if you let 1 penny double every day for 30 days, you'd have $5,368,709.12. Now, a new habit might be as simple as a sleep schedule. No, not getting a certain amount of sleep. You're old enough by now to realize you can't sleep 4 hours one night and 12 hours the other night, and your body somehow magically says, oh, I got 8 2-hour nights. It doesn't work that way, and you feel the consequence. No, a sleep schedule. You go to bed at the same time, you wake up at the same time. You associate habits with going to bed and waking up, and you take control of the thing that many of you might be losing control of, your sleep. See, doing something like that may not change you overnight, but in a month or two, you'll start to feel the difference. And it will be a way that you train yourself to take control of an important part of your life. One of the basics, one of the things that you have to do, and one of the things that's getting more difficult to do with reliability the older you get. The third thing is to learn the off part of the on-off switch. Yes, our smartphones, our televisions, everything, our computers, they actually have an off switch as well as an on switch. Did you know that? Yeah, most of us just complain about what's on and we want to change what's on instead of just turning it off. Learning to use the off switch means you start to control what you consume. And controlling what we consume makes one of the largest differences in learning to grow old better and learning to pick things that actually invest in us and help us rather than drag us down or drag us into a rabbit hole. Sorry, Alice, that's a weird world. I don't need it. The fourth thing is learn to be early for everything. I know, right? Now, I grew up in a household where my father always said, if you're not early, you're late. And that's a certain mindset of discipline, but it also expresses real character. And that is when we are constantly running late for things and constantly apologizing, we're practicing a form of egotism and we think we're so important. Sorry, I'm late. I'm so important. I had to be late. No, you're not that important. I'm not that important. But when we start to be early for everything, we have to reverse engineer everything. So if we need to be there at 5:55 instead of 6 o'clock, that means that we have to account for traffic, delays. By the way, delays happen. And we have to get ourselves a little bit more prepared. That may mean planning the day before. Learning to be early for everything rearranges our lives so that we're not apologizing, we're not practicing a form of egotism that we all do because we all like to feel important and we're not really that important. And it gives us a chance to show others that we value them. We get to actually invest in the quality of our relationships rather than constantly taking from people by showing up late for meetings or appointments or being the kind of person that other people have to wait for. Call it old school, call it stoic, call it whatever you want, but that simple idea of being early for things will radically change how we live and structure the rest of our lives. It's the healthiest thing we can do with our time management. And that gets us to the fifth thing, and that is practice gratitude rather than greed. Remember that saving idea, that saving's a scarcity idea, but investing is a generosity idea? Well, practice generosity in the way we talk, in the way we interact, in the way we treat ourselves. Be more generous with ourselves.
Would you do something with me, Lloyd? It's an exercise I like to do sometimes.
So let me ask you this. What's your generosity score? How do you calculate a generosity score? Here's a simple thing. Count to yourself Count how many times you say the simple phrase, thank you, in a day, in a single day. And by the time you get to, say, 20, 30, 40, that means you're actually on the road to practicing generosity. Learning just by that habit to say thank you as practicing gratitude will be an enrichment in our lives and will increase our gratitude score. So we'll actually pay attention to things. Oh, I can say thank you for that. Ooh, I can be grateful for that. And that gets us to the sixth thing, and that is be nice to everyone. Yes, everyone, even when you're wrong. You can still say, hey, I think you did me dirty there. I think you wronged me. And then you get to be nice. Stop acting like we deserve to be appreciated and honored and worshiped. We don't. No one owes us anything. So not only be grateful, but start to practice life without complaining, without expecting other people to treat us as though we were kings or queens or whatever we want to call ourselves. Learning that as a habit, as our baseline, as our best practice. Our best practice should be where we start, not just aspirational, but practice that kind of generosity in your life and you'll start growing old better. How many people you know who are really genuinely old, who are nice and grateful and self-aware enough to say, thank you? Yeah, there aren't that many. That's the one thing that seems to evaporate the older we get. We just forget to be nice. So instead of complaining, growing old better means you can be the one person, wherever it is in life, that practices gratitude and practices being nice. And the nicer you are, the older you get, the younger you'll seem. Hey, and this last thing is that big idea, and that is do something big, do something outrageous, do something you've always wanted to do, but never took the time or never had the opportunity to do. Yes, do something big and unexpected. Do something that might be a little embarrassing. Risk something. What do you got to lose?
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It's
Gets
gross.
the people going.
Finish your degree, get a master's degree, or do whatever you want with a degree. Start a new business yourself based on something you do for your career. Lose 50 pounds, don't just go on a diet. Lose something big. Make a commitment to something radical and outrageous. Now, here's that concept, the concept that neuroscience has been telling us for a couple dozen years now, and it's this notion that our brains actually constantly rewire. Neuroplasticity. It's how we can not only teach an old dog new tricks, but hey, it's how we can become addicted to something at your age, at my age. If our brains can become addicted to something, that means our brains have been rewired through neuroplasticity to be dependent on that thing, to crave it, to want it. You can also do that with good things in your life, not just bad things like becoming addicted to things. How about becoming addicted to investing in your own well-being and the well-being of others around you? Yes, you can become addicted to being a nice person. So that's the key word, neuroplasticity, and here's the story. When the pandemic hit, I decided I was going to take the real estate broker pre-licensing exam. The coursework, do the hours, the 60, the 40, all the hours that were required in Illinois to do it. Did I ever mean to take the broker's exam itself in Illinois and become a real estate salesperson? No, I never did. But I passed the pre-qualification. I did the hours. I scored well. I learned about real estate. Why did I do it? Well, pandemic, had extra time, and I also wanted to do something. It took about 4 months of daily work. It was a fantastic habit. I learned something new, and I learned a lot of good things about real estate and investing and value and price and the difference between them and the real estate market today. Now, doing that was a fantastic exercise. Yes, I took advantage of neuroplasticity, but I also learned that I love learning. It's something that's too easy to forget as we grow old gracefully. And instead of forgetting what it's like, the joy of learning things, we can actually learn the joy of learning things. Neuroplasticity. Thank you, neurobiology. So growing old better isn't about micromanaging lists and making to-do lists so we don't forget them, although, we do that. But it's about making some bigger, more significant changes so that we can accommodate all those smaller things. By the way, when you make those bigger changes, all the smaller things that wind up on your list somehow are subsumed and caught up in the accomplishment of those bigger things. And you don't have to be obsessive compulsive and to micromanage all the parts of your life to think that you're somehow fighting against old age. Instead, you're relishing the opportunity to grow and improve and learn and to grow old better. Hey, and thanks for being part of the Do-Over Show. I do appreciate it. Thank you. And while you're here, could you tap the like button because it really helps? And while you're down there, how about you subscribe and ring the notifications bell so you don't miss the next episode? I'm so glad you found me and I found you. Thanks.